Hey, J-Bro's popping in. I'm going to do the full deep dive on replacing the seals on my CRT23 hydraulic control. I was thinking about trying to take it off while it's mounted, but I said, what the heck? I'm doing a full deep dive. I'm just going to remove the whole control. And yeah, let's just get right into it. Yeah, and you can see here I had just hand loosened these up real quick before camera, and then of course I got my trusty Cascade container here. Yeah, pretty simple, straightforward. Right now, like I said, I'm going to just disconnect these hoses here. Got them zip tied up to this top side over here. Zip tie these ones over there just so they're out of my way. And then I'll start in with these there and just keep rolling. Okay, these bolts are coming off pretty easy here. I just had to get adjusted. Let's see what mil these Allen wrenches are. 6 mil for the Allen wrench. And then all you do is, there's a nut on the other side. I already broke these loose, so at least so you know there's no washer. You have to worry about dropping. It's just a nut with a washer on it already. That's just a bolt like that. This is holding it on the back side. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and get this one out of here. I was thinking initially that I was going to have to get
get my boy to hold the back side of the nut, and I thought I was going to have to unscrew it from the other side. But once it started coming off so easy, yeah, and really this thing should just flop right out. I tell you that this here has probably been leaking, I'd say at a hopefully I don't drop it. Not better. Well, shoot. Dropped it. Try not to do that. I guess that's why another hand would have been nice. What I'm going to do is, because this has got a fair amount of oil on it, just going to get a rag. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see. This little guy's pretty dang heavy. Shockingly enough. There we go. There's the control out of there. I think that's pretty cool. That's what happens when a guy gives you a nice video to look at, gives you a little confidence on what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to fish that nut out of here before I get too long, and then I'll jump back in here. All right, as you can see, I got that assembly out now. And now we're going to go ahead and take the caps off. Oh. And as mentioned before, there's not much thread that these are catching on. Maybe right about here. So let's say 1/4 of an inch, maybe, that it's threading into. I'm kind of eager to see if fluid just pours out of this cap, because I got to imagine if it's leaking out of here. These caps got to be darn near full, I'm guessing. Not really. There we go. Just got that dirty. But yeah, everything looks relatively clean in there. Like I said, this is where it's so handy for another guy to give you a little bit of a detailed video. Like I said, to feel confident enough, or whatever you want to say, just to say, hey, I can do that too. Because who knows what it would cost to pay somebody to do this. And obviously I'm going to go ahead and take this whole shaft out, because like I said, this has been this one here looks way wetter than this one here. Not that it matters, but we'll just say this one here was leaking way more than the other one. This is a little bit different of a guy on here. This has a spring. Now, mind you, this is the attachment controls. So we'll just see what. I don't quite understand this one here. Yeah, I don't understand this one. Wonder if there's another seal right here. See how loose that is? I can't imagine it's supposed to be loose like that. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this taken off a little bit further, get a light in here and see what that's Allen wrenches in. Okay, so this just came right off of here. So what we got is a little slip there. No rubber seals in that one, so that's there. Then the spring. And then another one of those things right there. No rubber seals in there. So that just sits there and goes together right like that. And this is just the control operating here. So if we're right, the leak should be on this rubber seal that's inside here. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this off there, and we'll just look at this whole assembly. I'm going to try to get you in here as close to what I can see on this control here. And obviously I've never had one of these apart, nor have I seen one apart, but this is really confusing how this one here is set up. But what you see here, it's very tough to see. It's almost like there should be a rubber gasket right here, and it's completely gone. And it's almost like there maybe should be another one inside there. It's super tough to see and explain. So I'll show you this here on this control. So this is when this is in straight up mode. See how this control's got some resistance? This one sits here and just flops around. That almost makes me feel like there's some rubber seals in here. And like I was mentioning when I first took it off, see how loose that is? Because this here, I'm guessing is supposed to come back. But that's where when you extend it like this, the cap's going to push this in. But what am I trying to say? The cap's on here. This will help it engage back when you go the other direction, so it goes in. But the part that, like I say, that I don't think is in there is, I'm thinking there should be a rubber gasket right there. And if not one there, I'll show you when I disengage this. If not one there, which I don't know why there wouldn't be one there, and I'll show you why I think it's that one, and that was disintegrated. Darn it, I put this upside down, but this is the cap that was holding it in. This one was full of black stuff, making me think that this whole ring in there just got disintegrated. So there's that. And watch when I pull this. Because I think there's still one seal inside this ring. Or a spring in here. I don't know. But god darn it. It looks like there should be a rubber ring in there. Because this one here was the left stick right there. This one is actually super clean and it looked real good, but this one was insanely dirty, which is the cap that went over here. I don't know. Anybody that knows anything on that, I'm going to keep deep diving in this a little bit more. I'm going to take this control out, but I found that kind of interesting. Like there should be a seal there. Okay, I'm going to try to get you in here. This left control, why I'm thinking it's this one here that needs that seal, because if I can show you best angle I can, right here, that rubber seal is right here, and that rubber seal looks good. And now this was the side that this end cap looked super clean in here. Now some fluid is still getting past this, obviously, but nothing like this other side, which makes me believe there's some sort of seal going on in this one. But like I said, that looks fully intact because I've replaced the quick couplers and those seals had been just completely gone. And then this is what the control looks like here. And there's that seal there. And I'll take this top cap off because I think there was supposed to be a second seal on this control. I'll try to get some better angles here. Hey John, I just had to show you this quick. This is relatively interesting. I forgot my poker here, but this rubber seal in here was good on this left stick, and this is the left stick here. This has one rubber thing way up here. This is exactly how it came out. Yours had one down here and one down here. So I'm not sure what to make of that, but there should be an extra ring on here. And then up here, it's kind of how you mentioned, there's that cap up there. Or is this ring supposed to be up in here and caught up in this spot there? I'm not sure there, but this thing here has just got me thrown for a loop, this thing. And this almost certainly was leaking. And like I said, I don't know if there should be a seal right here. It makes sense. Look at this thing just jiggle. I mean, that wouldn't stop anything, but then again, from what you've mentioned, it shouldn't get past the seal that's in here if I'm right on this. But it seems weird that this just jiggles loose like that. But yeah, if you've ran into anything like that, holler back. But I'm just going to take this off quick here and see if I can't see what else is going on.
So I'm back here, day 2. I finally got this out here. This was really, really tough to get out. And I don't know if it's because the seal was damaged that it kept catching on the edges to get it out. So right now I'm just using a couple of picks and I'm going to pull this seal out. This seal here looked good, but I might just replace this seal anyway with a new one. So I'm going to go show you how I'm going to get this out. So I got one to kind of pluck and pick it, and then one to kind of hold it up when I get under it.
And mind you, it's not very easy to get these out of here.
Hey, I just pulled out this seal here. Obviously that was in there. When I went to get this shaft out, this one just, each one of these ribs, because I had to pound this end through, and each one of these edges was catching onto this ring. And I kind of wonder, maybe the reason why it was catching is because it was kind of damaged in there. I don't know, but it came out just tough. But yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm just gonna go ahead and replace this seal, and I suppose just throw it all back together. And I was contemplating just leaving this one because this one didn't seem to leak bad, but I might as well just replace that one while I'm at that. So but yeah, hopefully after this should be relatively good to go. But yeah, anyway, thanks for the help and whatnot.
Okay, we're going to test out these new rings, and hopefully everything's just going to work super fine. Grab out the old one here. This is the good one of the old ones. Yep. All right, I'm just going to see how this fits over the shaft. Yeah, I mean, pretty much this is the old one. Obviously this one's a little bit, let's say, not as tight because obviously it's got 200 hours of use on it. I would say we got the right ring on there. You can see that. Pretty much identical. Okay, the only thing that I question, and I'm a little bit I don't want to say nervous about, it's getting this ring in here, because when I went to take out this side, and I'll just show you what I mean here. Let's ring off here. This was so tight that I was having to hit this out of here to get it out. So I'm very leery if I can even put this ring in there, because I'm going to have to pound this all the way back, versus if this side here is able to come off, which I do not know, and I don't know how it would. Obviously it goes together, but how does this come off? And see that? Why does this do this? What does that mean? I don't know. Is there a spring in here? You know, I know it's not meant to be up like this, because if this thing's up like this cap can't go all the way through. And what I mean by that, this is where the cap needs to come down to in order to seal, and this is where that seal happens. So why does this do it like this? Does it turn off? No, I'm sure not. I'm sure this is some sort of lock-in closed bearing, if I'm guessing right. How does it attach? You know, there's probably something threaded like this on there. I don't know, but it takes quite a bit of pressure to push it back down. Like I say, why does it do that way? I do not know, but that's where it needs to sit. And see, right there is where it needs to go. So right now, I guess my biggest concern is getting this ring in here, which is pretty easy because it just pops in there. But I need to get this shaft in there. And like I said, this is without the rubber gasket in here. See how tight that is? Once I put that rubber gasket in there, it's going to want to catch. Each one of these little edges is going to want to catch on this thing. And maybe I'll just have to be really careful. I'm for sure going to put some lubrication on this. But yeah, I don't know. That's enough babble here. I'm going to set this up. I'm going to have to try to put this in here. And hopefully that slides in halfway decent. Let's get a little more light on here. Okay, so this is a new ring. Like I said, when you put these rings side by side, this is the new ring. This is slightly, I mean, you're talking just slivers thicker. And I'm just going to go with, this is the used one. So you would think that's just from wear a little bit. I don't know, but we're going to go ahead and put this in here. And I know this is going to be tight because I've put some of these in on different spots. And we're going to have to probably get a pick in here to get it started on the bottom and hold that in there. And then I'm just going to press it in there. Because it's almost going to be like it wants to bend and break in there, but it will not. Because once it gets in that groove, it will just pop right in. Actually, screw in here so I don't rip the ring. Okay. And we know that's going to be tight in there. Oh, I went a little too far. Okay, I'm going to have to, I'll show you kind of what I'm dealing with and what it's wanting to do and what I'm trying to do. Right there. It wants to bend up, so you just got to get it pressed in there. And like I said, it's such a tight fit because even when I took out the other ring in here, it was just a bear cat to get it out of there because obviously there's so much pressure. It's just meant to seal perfectly. But I'm going to go ahead and get this squeezed in here. I kind of wish I would have showed you this, but this kind of helped big time. This Allen wrench has got a rib at the end. So I was kind of able to get it started. And I was kind of able to use this to manipulate it in there. But I'll show you what it looks like now. And there's no doubt, like I said, this is a little bit thicker in there. And I'm just hoping that little bit of thickness. So that's, you can see it right there. Let me get my pointer out. Right there, you can see that ever so slight of rubber there. And this is the old one. And that's why I think it's leaking. This stuff is just, this is a new one, obviously, here. And this is the old one. And that's the reason why I think it was leaking, because that seal has just finally wore out. But anyway, I'm going to try and put this thing in. And I'm going to lube this up. And I honestly believe this thing's just going to be a total bear cat. Yeah, this here lubricant is the stuff I prefer. I don't know. It's just a little bit more oil-based, if you want to call it that, than You can see it comes out nice, kind of brownish. I don't know, I'm just particular to it. And I'm not really worried about getting this in here. And obviously I'm going to lube this up because I want this to slip past that O-ring as good as I can get it. All right, I just really hope this slides in there. Yep, and there I'm meeting a rubber seal already. This is where I'm nervous. That's my problem. And I wouldn't doubt, straight from the manufacturer too, that you know, I'm gonna try this other one, see if I can get you a better view here. See, there's just resistance on that rubber ring. Like I said, what I'm worried about is I go ahead and push this in there. Each one of these sharp edges are going to cut on that ring, but I honestly don't really have a choice. And maybe I'm just being way too cautious as well. Yeah. I don't know, guys. I think I'm just forced to hit it in there. I don't want to do this, but what else do you do? Just try to keep it as straight as you can. See there, it slipped to the next tier. And like I said, I don't think you want to be hitting this hard at all. The last thing you want to do is probably start cutting these here. Damn, that is tight. And like I said, to get this out I had to really hit on it. Okay. I think I'm going to try to come up with another strat here. I think the best strategy here is, and I hope I'm not boring you to death, is I'm kind of holding on to it to keep it as straight as I can, pushing my palm on it. There. So now it went into that next rib. So I'm just continually kind of lubricating this. And like I said, I'm trying to work the head of this to kind of finesse around the rubber ring, if you know what I'm trying to say. Okay, about bottomed out there now. Okay, I kind of feel like it started around that ring, because this is what I want to do. See how it's on this edge now? Because I think what the ring is wanting to do, it's catching on one of these ribs here that is further up the line. So like I said, I could just be being way too cautious here. See, there we go. And each time, see that? Each time I'm getting past that ring, I'm trying to just get more lubrication into each one of those, just to make each one of those passes so we're not wrecking that ring. Okay. Okay, so now I think this is going as well as it's going to go, honestly. And if there's something you guys would do different, please let me know. Ooh. Ouch. When I push that son of a gun down. See, just imagine. Oh, fuck, that hurt. Sorry. Yep. See, just imagine, I should have had gloves on. Imagine that metal, how sharp that is, trying to get past that O-ring every time. And that's how sharp it is. At least it didn't cut me. But that's why we're kind of wanting to put lubrication in there. So, yeah, maybe wear a glove. I mean, that's why they're sitting right here, huh? Son of a gun, that hurt. What do they say? Not even a flesh wound. And just so you know, when you take this out, yep, see, it's just sitting right on that ring. So it's bouncing on it right now. Oh, yeah. That bugger is tight. Wish I actually had a more solid table here. But, ooh, that is so tight on that ring right now. But at least you kind of get the idea. And I will show you that one there. Okay, I was kind of being a bonehead there when I was trying to push on it. Of course, when I was pushing on it, the shaft is ready to come through, right? Well, of course, it's not going to go any further because the table's in the way. So I got that much more to go. So I got a 2x4 shim. So when I push on it, it will go in. So yeah, remember to do that. This should go in way easier now. Basically, I was sitting there hitting the shaft onto the table. Maybe I was having a brain fart from my yeah, there we go. See that? Maybe I was having a brain fart from getting my finger pinched in there. And once again, we're through that shaft, so we're gonna put some more lubricant in there. And now we just need to go that far, and I might need a little bit more of a shim here, but we'll see if we can't. There we go. All the way in. So that actually didn't go as bad as I thought, to tell you the truth. And like I said, once again, that's why I'm just going to say that's why this seal is leaking, just because it's obviously thinner now. That, like I said, these are the originals. Like I said, these are slightly thicker, but this one's just wore down. Anyway, I'm going to pull this old ring out of here. Like I said, the ring looks fine. It's just has wore down. So we'll go ahead and get that one out and see if I can do this one a little bit smarter than that one. Okay, and these are kind of the picks that I'm using. I know I showed you this earlier, but this is the one I just pulled out of here. And what I'm trying to do with this one here is I come in with that hook, I jab it into the ring and try to bend it up ever so slightly and get it started, and then I just take the straight one, slip it up under there and pluck it out. Just to review that. But like I said, you know, the ring looks good, but it's just wore down. I'm gonna go ahead and slide that other one in. I want to point this out too. When you do get that ring sealed, and I'm almost certain I did it on the other one, make sure that this ring gets completely set into the groove there, because there's just a spot on this ring, because the ring will kind of deform as you put it in there. So just make sure that gets pressed all the way up into the spot that it seats into. And I can see now, and I'll just show you here quick. Like I said, you can feel it with your pinky. Obviously, you got big pinkies, you won't be able to feel it, but you'll just be able to see down there that it looks seated properly. So yeah, let's go ahead. And on this one here, where are we at? We're going to go ahead and obviously lubricate this shaft up. We're going to spray lubrication on that. And now that we know, on this one here, I got to make sure I replace this ring too. This was on here. This is the old one. The other one, I can still slide that on with how that other one's designed. Because this one here is still hooked onto the thing. The other one fell off, and I'm regretting that falling off already because it's just going to be a pain in the butt to get that back on. I'm going to go ahead and get this on here so you don't have to waste your time watching. This one here is not going to be even remotely as difficult to get on because this retentioner is on here. I had to start and go all the way through this one, or this way. This one doesn't have that retentioner on it, so I can come from the top. So the only thing that's going to get over this ring is just this little bit here. That's why I think this one got kind of, let's say, wore out sooner, because I had to slide this shaft on this way, and you had to cross each one of those ribs. So when they're probably doing this fast and stuff, you know, they just jammed it on there and, you know, whatever. But this should go on pretty easily. I'm just going to lube this down here a little bit. And then we'll just get some stuff in there because I don't know how much. Like I said, this one should be pretty easy. Okay, got the ring on, got the washer on. Yep. So right now it should just slide. Keyword is should. Why is that not going on there? I must just not have it quite squared up. I get down here. Like I said, when you're dealing with this machine stuff, those guys are accurate on this crap. There we go. And it should get a little bit of a bump when it gets down there. So we got to go over that ring. Yep, and here you see it. It's about ready to come out. And right now, it's just the very end caught on that ring, just that little bit. And I think I might spray some stuff in here, just to be cautious. Oops, I didn't need to spray the whole can on that. Oh man, that is snug. It's absolutely snug. God darn it. Really don't want to tap on that, but you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap this on the ground so I don't have any flex. So that way it just doesn't bounce. And honestly, on this one here, now that I'm looking at it, I think once we maybe screw that on there, that'll flex that together. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get that seated on there. And like I said, new seal here, new seal there. We'll get a new seal on that one. There should be 0 leaks. Yeah, I want to show you this too. So when I put this one in, this shaft here. I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about. See that there? So I can show you. That is the sliver of that seal that I just put in. That's why I'm saying you want to be so cautious on putting it in. It just peeled that right off. And once again, maybe, you know, little factory overflow. Maybe just by the micrometer, that seal's just too damn big. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just got to be what it's got to be at this point. And this one here is ready to go in. I just press this in and tighten that up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this on here, because like before, this is how it came out on this one. And this is basically the thing that operates the joystick. So I'll get that hooked back up and we'll test out the control. Okay, I've got it all put back together. I mean, these are just as simple as putting those screws back on. Same thing up here. They're just simple as caps. And yeah, I don't know why anything would leak now with new seals. Like I mentioned back before, with that little fray taken off of here. My one fear, and I'll just show you that little fray again. Right there, you know, that was taken off of here on that one pass through. That's why on this one here, you have to slide this all the way through. And just wondering, each one of these gets this little bit of fray in there. I don't know. I don't know how you prevent that or how you do it different, I guess. And then, like I said, that's probably in a way why, you know, maybe this seal leaked quicker because a little chunk of it got taken out. Like I said, I don't really know what else you're supposed to do. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I see I got 4 more screws to pop in here. And then I'll just go ahead and bolt this on the machine. There's no reason why, if anything, for one, it shouldn't leak. And for two, it should just work just fine. Okay, I'm pretty much going to get this all set up and get it put back in the machine. It's going to take me a little time and effort, but I'll take you through the whole process. I mean, you already see me take it out. It's the same concept of getting it back in. That'll work just fine. Yeah, honestly, the whole process of this, once you do it one time, it really isn't all that bad once you just know what you're doing. And that's what I'm hoping for you guys, is you don't have to struggle like me, but I can't say I really struggled. Okay, so I just need to slide this up into the spot up there. There we go. Pretty much line it up in the same spots. We'll leave this sit on the muffler. Actually, it's kind of hooked by the control there. I got to get the bolts. I got 2 nuts here. Got 3 bolts. I'm going to put them down there. I think I'm going to try to hit this top one in first. It should be the easiest one for me to reach. I'm just going to hold it kind of right to the hole. And if I'm lucky, I hit my nut right away, which it feels like I did. And then I have my Allen wrench ready to go. Perfect. That was super lucky. All I'm going to do is get this one snugged up. Not super tight, obviously. Okay. Okay, next phase here, we're going to get these hydraulic lines put back in, and pretty much going to do everything in the same order as I took it off, because it seemed to come off pretty decent. Had to grab a smaller adjustable wrench. And just a reminder that I did put the blue tape on here just to remind myself that those lines are the top lines. Okay.
One thing that I noticed that I just wanted to throw in here, obviously nothing's leaking right here right now. This left joystick had always been a little bit weird. That is totally corrected. And this is the side that was, let's say, leaking worse, I would say. But this now functions almost exactly like this side. Why is that? I really don't know. But both of them work fully solid. And I don't see why, you know, once I hook up attachment to it, you know, I don't see why anything's going to be not good to go. Let's just say that. But I just wanted to let you know that my left stick control, which would have been this side here, just seems like it's functioning and moving way better. So that seal could have been failing quite some time ago, which obviously with the leaking. But I'm going to go ahead and different video here. I'm going to get this muffler wrap removed and put a new one on here. And now that I don't have that leaking oil crap, this thing should turn it back to that color and hopefully stay that color. But yeah, there we go.
Well, guys, that's the control all back in. 4 new seals. I don't know. Let's just hope it's worth all the effort and whatnot. I'm gonna just fire it up, and we'll just see if those controls work how they're supposed to. Quick, grab my stand quick. And being there, the attachment controls, I'm only just looking for them to move because I don't have any attachments hooked up. So, and with that being said, all right, let me just make sure I got tools out of the way. Okay. Okay. Couple scraggler tools sitting in there. Obviously, the control moved. Yeah, I mean, as long as the controls move, that's all we can ask for. So I'd say it's a success. Turn that down. Yeah, I would say it's a success. That's all there is on my end. All I need to do now is test it. But yeah, sorry for the long video. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. J Bros out.